Hello and welcome, heroes, to part 14 of the Planeshifters Dungeons and Dragons show. How's everyone doing today?
Doing pretty good.
I'm doing.
Some of us are
Under
under the weather,
the
but
weather
we're doing
today,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
pretty
thing we're
sure
virtual.
the other 5 of us are under the weather in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I'm glad that you all still decided to go ahead and do this game. I'm super excited. Before we get into last time on Planeshifters, I just want to take a short moment to let everyone know about our newest release, our Extraordinary Expeditions adventure. It just released in hardcover today. I'm super excited. If you don't know, it is a collection of 10 D&D adventures for levels 1 through 10. Each one is built on a flexible framework system, so they're easily tossed into any campaign or setting. What's really fun about it is it's in a nice kind of format that rides between a full adventure and an encounter. And I'm really happy with how it came out. You know, role-playing games are designed to, transport us to, other worlds and adventures and stuff. And I feel like Extraordinary Expeditions allows us to do just that, whether you're scouring the desert wastelands for the lost library of the Zenith Athenaeum, or you're saving and escorting a group of villagers to safety while there's a giant kaiju battle going on around you that you're too weak to actually intervene directly, or at least handle the problem yourself. But there is some swaying that you can do to lead the fight into one giant titan's direction or the other, which is super fun. And of course, it includes one of my favorite adventures that I've had the pleasure of running, the Luring Mesas, where people are disappearing and nobody knows how. Our characters are asked to investigate, and it turns out that harpies are luring them to their death off of the mesas and flying away with the ones that do survive. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully you'll consider picking us out there, or picking it up. There's a link below at rebrand.ly/extraordinary-expeditions. And I promise it's a lot of fun. You can even see some reviews that are already coming in. Hopefully you'll pick it up and support us here at Crit Academy. All right. I think that'll do it. How about we jam right into... Wait, Justin looks weird. Oh, because my shaved head maybe and my goatee. Anyways, so our wonderful lore master, Matthew, would you like to tell us what happened last time on Planeshifters?
So, after Zorax killed a Boros Legion soldier over an insult after discovering the death of the city of Elturel's Grand Duke, Uldar Ravengard, the lieutenant of the Boros Legion contingent used a 9th level spell on Zorax to imprison him, but Echo over here went up to said lieutenant and casted Modify Memory on him, altering the lieutenant's memories that Zorax's actions were justified, and as a result, Zorax was released.
Whoops.
And so with that in mind, the lieutenant gave us the necessary magical equipment to honorably carry the body of Grand Duke Ravengard back to the city of Elturel and transport via airship. During this time, there were heated discussions between my character, Garmore, Austin's character, Zorax, and the lieutenant in question. And there was even a bit of a backstory revelation from Garmore.
That was really juicy. I loved it.
Yeah, more details on that document I gave you.
I love it.
And we managed to get an airship to take us back to Elturel. I believe it was called the Benediction.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
which
They were preaching incessantly to you guys about their great savior, the living guildpact.
yeah, for context, it is run by a belief system of worshippers of the living guild pact. There was no name that was given about them, to be honest. Just the fact that they were worshippers,
Fanatics. I
that they
would
were
even say.
one would say that they're just worshippers of the living guild pact, and and the airship was owned by them. It was very pristine, very
Safe.
safe. Yes, very safe. That's what we were going for in terms of safety for Raven Guard's body. Over the other option, I forget that one's name, but and upon our as we neared the city, we noticed that some of the Elturelian citizens were actually piloting the smaller airships through the skies near the city. And our session ended with entering the chamber of the Elturel roundtable with the now appointed Justice Rhea Mantlemorn, saying, "Welcome. It's good to see you. We have much to discuss."
And we all
Just so
handily
everyone
agreed.
So everyone is aware, Echo had disappeared after the mind wipe moment, and is not with you. And so that I'm not leaving Will out, he will actually be and so I'm not talking to myself. He will actually be playing Rhea Mantlemorn, and I will be playing the other NPCs. That way, he's included in the discussion, even though his character's not there.
Interesting.
I didn't.
This
want
had to have
him
been
be.
planned between the player and the DM, I assume, because I assume there's a lot of information that will need to
Well,
be said.
I talked to him beforehand.
Okay,
So,
I presumed. I was like, that's
I'll still be playing the
a lot of
council
weight.
that's giving Rhea advice, right?
Right. No, I guess that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So she's still a little bit of green around the edges. So she's got the council. So you guys have entered the council chambers of where the round table is. The first thing you immediately notice upon arrival is the area is much cleaner. There are, it looks like most of the people there are no longer in rags. They've got proper clothes. You recognize some of the outfits from around, mostly the noble area when you pass through the district that was controlled by the Orsov syndicate. And you notice everything's kind of cleaned up. Yes, still walls are still torn down or broken and shattered, but most of the rubble has been cleaned up. You did immediately notice that the walls have been disassembled. They're no longer. I mean, there's still kind of rubble walls there, but they did clean up all the Golgari
Visage.
ceiling, wall ceiling that you guys used, the sealant. Per the requirement of the judge. So, as you guys are approached, you instantly see Rhea there. She seems to look a little more comfortable now. You can see that she's got a bit of a commanding presence, but you can kind of still see her eyes darting to and from her spy master there, Visanya, that you see is kind of standing there with a black cloak kind of covering a delicate face. Of course, you see Osiv there, big, giant, red-skinned, half-orc monstrosity, as well as a very familiar face that you guys recognize as your good friend from the Boros Legion, Captain Jara.
Interesting. Jara's here.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think he had left you guys previously.
Yeah.
As well as a big, slender, tall, lanky, gaunt man that you know as the Archmage Baron. So this is kind of the council that Grand Duke Ravengard had relied upon and has now been transferred to Rhea. and the old gaunt mage walks up to Rhea and whispers into her ear and says, "I fear that something has passed. Something is wrong. I have tried my magic. I have tried to scry the Grand Duke. I am concerned, Mistress. Duchess.
Yes.
As he looks at her eyes.
Well, our troops are out looking for him, I'm sure. Right now, we just have to hope for the best.
But if I cannot scry him, Miss Duchess, that is a terrible sign. And you kind of see Osiv he kind of shrugs a little bit, and then the door kind of bursts open. Several guards lead in our soldiers. You see Zorax there with Lumine, and Joram kind of just looking around. It's been a little bit since he's been in here. And then Garmore. I want Garmore. The first thing that you notice, something that really stands out to you, is there are plants now in the area, directly inside, almost. But they're not plants from Elturel. Somebody has begun, while the area is cleaned up, they started putting these little decorations, I guess you could say. Go ahead and give me a nature check, please.
Okay. Nature. Oh, that's not good. 6.
So as you poke around, you take in the scent. Gridania's maybe a little different than you're used to.
Hang on. I have advantage, so I'm gonna re-roll that. Sorry, I'm using D&D Beyond on my phone instead of my internet browser. So yeah, so that was an 8. That's not much better. 10.
So yeah, the scent of Gridania's sweet fills your nostrils. You walk over and you're kind of drawn to a few of them. They almost look like, they look very alive. You try to kind of, you've not seen anything exactly like these, but they're very intriguing to you as you kind of run your hand, down the length of its stem. You see it kind of pulls away a little bit, almost if it's reacting to your touch. With that, Rhea calls the meeting into session as you arrive.
Everybody, we're going to head inside for the meeting. You're missing a few of your companions, aren't you?
We are.
A lot has happened while we were away. It's been a less than optimal experience.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry for the news that we will have to bring.
I feared as much. My
I knew it.
Wizard was mentioning something, but let's head inside and
For sure.
talk about it.
So as you pass through the foyer into this other section, it's got like a big giant arch, and on the arch near the top, you can actually see the 10 sigils of Ravnica that have been filled in where this arch had been destroyed and broken, which now has a massive door that a couple servants, one thick dwarven woman, and a small, probably young teenage girl with short hair pushing the door open. As you guys walk in, it opens into this massively round table with a small opening that allows somebody to walk in towards and stand in the center of the circle. Immediately you see Rhea Mantlemorn walks around to the opposite end of the entrance path and kind of ushers everyone in and indicates that they should sit. The archmage looks around and says, "Tell me what has happened. I could not see the Duke any longer. I watched his battle. I watched his fight. The next time that I tried to scry him this morning, and I got nothing."
You'll hear it at the meeting.
Well, we have good news and we have bad news. Unfortunately, it's mostly bad news. The good news is we found the Duke.
And
The
The bad
news
news is, if
he
you
fell
would
in
like,
battle.
so he's dead.
he
Yes.
died a hero's death.
We have no option for him to survive what happened.
I mean, we got there and he was dead. So
It estimated time was a couple days, maybe.
I see.
And even if it helps to at least tell you about the impressiveness about the Duke, it's that he fought for a very long time, and to the point where we were fighting battles that even we could barely even do anything about. We lost one of our own.
Which
You're supposed to be the strongest that the Elturel has.
who else did you lose?
Merle Bronson.
He's dead.
He was our connection with the Izzet League.
I'm
Apparently the League does not know how to create bags of holding, and that was an offer from us to them.
sorry. And
But with Merle dead, we may have lost our connection with the Izzet League.
That also means that the project to be able to create a way back home has single-handedly fallen. We must find a new way now.
although it's worth mentioning that we haven't talked to the Izzet League either, so
This is true.
The
what
arch-
of the
Go ahead.
what of the changeling?
he's around somewhere.
He's probably far away, keeping eyes on us.
You lost him.
I bet you it was his fault, Duchess.
You weren't there.
We trusted one of these people. Now they've killed our Grand Duke.
I said
did
he
not-
disappeared.
you weren't there. Shut up.
Okay.
I
These
will
are
not be
accusations.
silenced by a fool who could not protect
Wait.
our most important asset.
Are you interrupting the Duchess?
He
Stand down.
He kind of stutters back, and he pulls his.
Know your
his quote. He
place.
says, "Forgive me, Duchess. I forgive
We do
my
not-
place."
We do not need to throw around accusations yet.
His eyes dart around to each of you, and you can see a forced, suppressed anger.
Admittedly, Echo was not at fault for the Grand Duke's death.
If anything,
That
Echo-
fault lies with us.
Osif
Technically,
kind of
the
shrugs a
fault was
little
the
bit.
barbarians, but hey.
Osif shrugs a little bit, and he says, "I should have been there. I could have protected him."
We had ample chance to go to him, but some of us believe that but some of us overestimated him.
We thought he would be
Are
okay.
you the Baron steps? Are you or the Archmage Baron? I keep calling him a Baron. His name is Baron. Baron steps forward. Are you implying that the Archduke is weak?
No.
But we
Mules.
underestimated this world. We underestimated how powerful some of these beings are. We're not in Faerun anymore.
His head slams over towards the Duchess and says, "We relied on these fools too much, and look what has happened. Not only have we lost our Grand Duke, but we've also lost the one person who may actually be able to return all of Elturel back to Toril."
What exactly have you been doing in our absence, Archmage?
Not to mention the fact that if it weren't for us, you'd still be in Avernus.
He
How do
has
you
been
think-
here with the city, protecting the people from an alien land where I need him.
We
Now-
are the aliens here.
We are. And they are aliens to us. And if we don't have people in the city to protect it, we won't have a city. Now, what were your priorities that caused you to not go after the Archmage or after the Grand Duke?
The idea was to find a way to secure a way back home, because we didn't have much time after we had to deal with the law of this land, if you will. There is a judge that has extreme sway over everything that happens here, and that took up a lot of our time. And in doing so, we thought maybe we would have enough time while we were still around to be able to make connections to find and help our way back home. And we were successful in that endeavor. The only issue was that the travel time to get to the Grand Duke was far larger than we had expected. Even with the help of Echo, who admittedly gave us rides to get to where we needed to be as fast as we could, and even some other magics along the way to expedite the process even more, we were still too late. It wasn't for a lack of trying, it's just there wasn't enough time for us to have.
Captain Jara kind of steps forward and he says, Duchess,
Yes.
I want you to know that it's easy to underestimate the size of the city. Places
From-
that would seem close are far. For our city, our home, extends indefinitely. So it's easy to underestimate distance, time, and travel from one precinct to another.
So, if I understand things correctly, we've pretty much lost all progress. We have lost our contact with the Izzet. We've lost the Grand Duke. Where have we made progress?
I would say not everything is lost. I think there is still hope. And that hope lies with Joram. Admittedly, he knows magics that brought us here in the first place, that got us out of Avernus. We would just, maybe, find something with enough of a power source to try again. I don't know how well it would work, but at least we got out last time. Last time we were just in Avernus.
A soft-spoken woman in black coat with her delicate features steps forward. To Rhea's left is her spy master, and she walks up and whispers, "Pray tell that they are correct. Not only is Joram the one responsible for our plane shifting, but from what I understand, we were able to one second, let me check my notes." And she starts pulling out a couple scrolls and running through them. She says, yes, according to the scientists and engineers that my associates have spoken with, it all is not lost. We may be starting over, but from what I can understand, there may be enough power across multitudes of creatures that roam this land that should provide us the power that we need to channel. You can see it in all of their devices. I think the question is just needing somebody wise enough and trustworthy enough that can help us build, I think they called them schematics, which is something I believe our past friend was trying to develop and understand. I do
See.
believe they will they will be important to this mission, Duchess. The Is It League, if I recall.
Yes, Merle was in contact with the lab of, I believe it was metallurgy. Due to my guess, it was to construct the physical means to recreate the phenomenon that brought us here. You know, resources, materials necessary to construct, to replicate it.
There is another route as well. At least one that I think is reasonably attainable.
Osif stands up in excitement. We punch through the dimension.
If only I could, Osif. If only I was strong enough to do that. But even I have my limits, and I've understood them all too well in these past troubling times. But there is something, or beings, that are extremely powerful here and well-versed and have a large pool of magic. And that is the Archangels. I don't like them, and I will openly state that. I have a troubled history with them, but they are strong.
They're
Very
not as strong as Osif.
You would be surprised,
flexes.
Osiv.
Rhea leans over to her head of spies and asks out loud to everybody, how close are the other guilds to learning the plane shifting technology?
We do not know. All I know is that Merle was basically putting the list together, if I recall.
I don't know to quite the detail they have, but according to my sources, sir. According to my sources, Duchess, the closest of the understanding is likely to be the Planeswalkers themselves, the Izzet Guild, and just perhaps the Dimir, as they are a extraordinarily gifted collection of spies. I have not meeked out much, but they are very well versed in knowledge all across Ravnica, as far as I understand.
Yes, I have learned of the Dimir.
Wait,
They cause problems.
if I may,
Yes.
there could be another avenue, even beyond that. We know that planeswalkers exist in this realm. Now, while it is unheard of that they can transport, large quantities, but if we can figure out one of them and see how they do it, we might be able to figure something out.
I believe the Archmage steps forward and says, you see his eyes kind of dart over to the mistress, the spy master, and dart back, and he takes a deep breath. You had asked what I had been doing all this time. I had been working with our lovely Visania to build contacts to better understand these planeswalkers. In Visania, correct me if I'm mistaken, but there is apparently one here on Ravnica who is not welcome. He has been sent by another for which he is his liege lord. The locals refer to him as Tezzeret. Now, he looks over to the Duchess and says, I do not know the strength of these creatures. We already know that Niv Mizzet has told us that he cannot take others with him when he plane shifts. But his eyes kind of dart around a little bit. Excuse me. According to Visania's contacts, a spark could potentially be harvested.
Zorax's eyes widen slightly.
Perhaps the loss of one can save countless.
You would end the life of a guildmaster.
They already took our Grand Duke. Of course,
that is not their
to save
doing.
the rest of these people. Wouldn't you? He takes a deep breath and he looks at Duchess. Forgive me.
Your
he
anger
reaches
clouds
back.
your judgment.
We need to keep cool heads. This is a difficult time for all of us. And we
So,
must work together.
if I'm understanding the Archmage correctly, you would have the idea that was presented was we do battle against a guildmaster. That was...
To my understanding, Tezzeret is not of this world. He is a... And Visania kind of jumps in. He says, yes, you must understand. This creature, this planeswalker is, from what we can understand, speaking with the guildmasters, has been a burden on the world of Ravnica. Unfortunately, their duties and his ability to escape their grasp has made them difficult to deal with. And they are just as eager to have him removed as we would be to use his power. Now, it's important to note, I'm sure Duchess is as concerned for this as I am. The power of these creatures, these planeswalkers, is unlike anything that we have ever seen. Fighting gods is almost easier.
But if most of his combat prowess comes from being able to leave, then I actually pose an interesting advantage against him. We can trap him. As
How would
long
you
as he can't leave a
suggest?
magic circle, through his ability to leave, we can capture one of them.
What does Rhea think about this? She's the leader after all.
Yeah. We've faced many losses already. Going about it this way seems like a big risk. Very big risk.
I am against this idea.
Osif says, we could just ask him for help.
We
In
could.
fact, could we just ask any of the Planeswalker Guild people to help?
Exactly.
I think that would be good.
I
Why
think-
can't we just do that instead of killing and harvesting their essence for just to supply this power?
I'm saying it's
Well.
an avenue that we could explore should things not go as intended.
I think Rhea, Duchess, forgive myself, I forget my place. Duchess Rhea has spoken with some of the, well, at least communicated to some capacity with the guild masters. So I feel like she would have a better understanding as to why they are not an option, aside from the fact that they have already told us that they are incapable of shifting others, and we may or may not be able to utilize that. I don't know if you know more than that, Rhea.
Yes.
Sorry, Duchess. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
It's okay. We'll work on it. I think our best approach at the moment would be working with the other guilds. We have to be careful, though, which ones we allow to have this information. As my
think-
spy master has said, the Izzet and the Dimir both may possess a great amount of knowledge on the subject already. Though we've lost Merle, the Izzet could be an option for us to work with still.
We have also already established relationships with the Boros Legion. who also work with the Angels. As we can see, Captain Jar is here with us already.
We have. When we found the Grand Duke, there was a battle between the Burning Tree clans of the Gruul Guild and the Boros Legion, led by a Lieutenant Galador.
A servant walks up and is serving out different drinks in these carved wooden cast cups, and she starts serving each of you guys. They kind of work around the table and offer some grapes and a variety of fruits, and with that, the Archmage Baron kind of stands up. He says, "How much can we rely on some of these guilds? From what I can understand, the Gruul is primitive. The Boros," he kind of eyes Jara and says, "are soldiers. The Conclave seems to hug trees. The Simic spend their days mixing and matching body parts, which I find revolting. And of course, the Azorius Senate spends most of their time dealing with those who would break the laws as well as enforcing them. It seems that our options are narrowed down to a cult of terrible jesters, the Golgari monstrosities that we slaughtered, or the scientists." You could see
I can tell you from first-hand experience that to the people of the realm that you are equally as strange.
What
Well,
does the Duchess think?
I understand the concern with the scientists. I've seen the explosions in the distance.
Durham?
That's good.
I
But
can do them this time.
if you have not tried to restore a relationship with them without Merle yet, that could be a plan worth looking into.
There is one idea in that regard,
Yes.
but one of us seems to have disagreed due to recent activities. And he turns to, and Garmore turns to Zorax. This one is in possession of a sealed bag of holding carrying the shield of an evil pit fiend. And
forgot about that.
Oh.
I do not know how long he has carried this.
Devin
but
stands up. He says, "You have bound a pit fiend in your bag of holding? What
Well,
kind of fools are you?"
I am not finished, Baron.
You might as well be casting a city-sized fireball right in the middle of our... He kind of just...
Don't tempt me.
He kind of just walks off for a second.
The pit fiend in question is incapable of doing anything to me as it stands. I am immune to its enchantments.
Now,
What about the rest of us?
So long as you do not touch the shield physically, you will be fine.
And the
That is
bag.
why it is in a bag. Because you can't touch the shield so long as it's in a bag.
Has it been in the city the whole time you've been in the city?
Exactly. It has never left my possession.
And I was worried about plane shifting.
The
What do you
idea.
think will happen if that thing escapes?
that thing.
Well, thankfully, it's sealed, so you have to know the password in order to get it out.
You probably have forgotten the password anyway.
You're damn right I did.
The point I was trying to make is a method of two actions. A combination with the Boros Legion and the Izzet League. One is that we safely and securely hand the shield over in a sealed location in the hands of the archangels of the Boros Legion. Then we I guess, cleanse its evil influences of the Bag of Holding and turn the Bag of Holding over to the Izzet League for study so that they can understand its enchantments. Because apparently, the Izzet League have never heard of a Bag of Holding, which would be
Such a
a
bizarre.
jaw-dropping item for them to possess. Carrying massive piles of textbooks, documents, whatever. Materials, whatnot. It could...
Visania corrects you. He says, I'm afraid, Master Garmore, that is no longer the case.
What?
According to my intel, and mind you, I would count this as mostly reliable. They have been experimenting with Merle's bed chambers, I guess, since he had left.
So weird.
I'm not. To my understanding, they have been very excited and hard at work on this space that he had created. I don't know the full details yet.
I wonder if we could leverage that in some way. Using his
How?
things without his permission. He's dead now.
Well,
That would be sacrilegious, wouldn't it?
Well, he probably did write a contract, didn't he? So.
The fucking contract.
Remember that long-ass contract? Just like
No one
any
else knows what it
business,
says in there.
They own everything that you make while there.
I do want to point out, Merle actually read the contract from top to bottom.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
was aware of that, but now he's dead,
Yep.
so it doesn't matter. Unless you guys find a way to bring him back.
I was actually just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Admittedly, we have another avenue that we could possibly explore.
You want to bring Merle back from the dead.
It is not uncommon for things to not stay dead forever.
Do you
Sure.
have his body with you?
Well, okay, yes.
Well,
That being said, I'm not going to reveal it to you at the moment.
It's not really.
it's not a sight to behold, to
Um,
be honest.
So as you guys are kind of having this discussion, you hear a kind of clearing of a throat behind you.
I think I might be able to help. And
You turn
do you want me to do it?
yeah, go ahead, have at it.
Okay.
There you are.
You look to the back of the room and you see a door push open, and a Boros soldier, hobgoblin, quietly slips into the room at a very opportunistic time. And he looks at you all at the table and he says, "Good to see you, Jara."
What's up?
It's wonderful to see you too, Vanek.
I was told to come revive one of your companions.
One of?
I see.
Yes.
Why did the leaders decided to send someone as capable as you to aid these visitors? I see.
Well, the Boros were appreciative of your help in the Gruul territories. So they pulled me from my post even deeper in the Gruul territories and my healing duties there, and sent me to assist you.
Can Garmore make an insight check on this guy?
That was a yes. You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Insight,
I heard
insight.
it, but it was pretty quiet.
12.
You believe he's honest?
So he's standing there. He's pretty confident as he speaks. There's no micro emotions or anything that would portray anything other than his confident speak.
So you can bring others back from the dead.
I can.
Devin jumps up. Does that mean you can bring the Grand Duke back?
What
I'm
are your
excitement.
conditions for this?
And who were
How
you told
many-
to resurrect?
Well, I can bring one creature back from the dead if the soul is free and willing. The soul can return to its body and be healed as long as they're not missing any limbs or anything like that.
Okay. What is there a time frame? I know some restoration spells like that
Go
require...
get the Grand Duke's. Bring the Grand Duke here immediately. Lay
Hold
out
up.
his body.
We still need to know if this is even possible. Some spells require a time frame. I don't know
Mhm.
what his is.
If they've died within, I would say, a century, I should
Oh.
be able to revive them.
That is extremely
Yes.
generous.
He snaps his fingers. Servants, servants, go grab the Grand Duke's corpse. Bring him here immediately. No offense to you, Duchess. You're doing a wonderful job, but with the Grand Duke back, this can change everything.
I believe the Duchess has the right to say.
Well, as much as I believe that your friend Merle is a critical asset, I believe that the Grand Duke is going to request that Ian stop snipping his fingernails.
It's so loud.
I'm not apologizing.
It's so loud.
Yeah, your mic
Use
is
your
so
mic or something.
sensitive to that.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's like, I was like, what is that? And then I look down, he's snipping at it. She says, shit, I totally, I think that, unfortunately for Merle, it would be best to resurrect the Grand Duke. He's a powerful leader. Though Merle does have our best chance of returning all of Elturel. Council members, and she looks at all of you, I would hear your arguments for one of the other.
Before I place my opinions on the matter, I have a question for this Fanak person.
Yes.
How many times a day can you cast this resurrection spell?
Once.
Once.
I see.
It takes a lot out of me.
But given time and the necessary preparations, you could do it again.
Given the time, yes, I could.
But I believe you're only obligated to do one resurrection, correct?
That is the difficult part. There is, even though the Boros is thankful for what you've done and has sent me to heal one of your companions, there's a cost.
There always is.
We can discuss it, but for now, let's see your companions and see if it's even possible.
Okay. Get the bag of holding.
It's on
Well,
you.
no.
It's on
The-
you, Joel.
The Grand Duke is on the thing, right?
Yeah,
he-
Grand Duke it was
Grand Duke
taken
is.
earlier.
But Merle
Yeah.
is not.
But
He's
Merle
he's
is in a
he's
bag
mess.
of holding, isn't he?
I thought it was a bag of scolding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Juanita. Well, we may as well hold the vote. They do not wish to take up this Soldier's Day. He is busy saving lives, and he has given us the grace to allow us to have one of our own.
And
Well,
the bright side too is the options on the table apparently in some capacity to bring the other one back. So
And we have a century to do that.
That's plenty of time.
a lot of time. That's like 100 years.
It's a very long time.
Well, I, Duchess Mantlemorn, believe that she takes a deep breath. You can tell that she's struggling. You can see kind of the concern contorting her face, the sweat running down the side of her face.
She was just a commoner, just like us at one point, wasn't she? Back in
now she's a
in
duchess,
Baldur's Gate.
yes.
Yeah. So she probably understands more than any of us how hard that is.
I gotta love Raw sometimes, Garwin.
I believe.
Yuck.
God damn it, Garwin.
It's so gross. I love it.
Side note, I'm still surprised Justin didn't know what the shirt I'm wearing.
I can't see.
I survived the end. Hot sauce.
But did your ass?
Apparently, Matt Mercer survived Ghost Peppers twice.
Yeah, I watched the YouTube video.
It's crazy. So what does the Duchess say? I understand it's difficult.
Well, I think that you must understand my position.
I am aware.
What I believe to be the right situation may not be one that looks unfavorable to one seeking a throne. So I believe that we should bring back as many resources as we can that can potentially get the people of Elturel back to Toril. And unfortunately, while I believe the Grand Duke is an excellent leader and one that sacrificed himself for his people, not even his people, the people of Elturel, where he took the lead in the depths of Avernus after their true leader, our true leader, failed us. As much as I think that he should be brought back, I think Merle is our best plight, is our best approach between him and the Izzet Guild. And I know that sounds horrible, and to an outsider it may seem that I'm just trying to clutch the throne for myself. But I do think returning Merle is the best choice. Council?
I am in agreement with the Duchess. Anyone else want to say their piece?
Yeah,
on
you're
the
all
matter?
part of the council. You know that,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I haven't heard.
No,
that, so
I'm thinking. Yeah. I think
I do believe, out of the sheer practicality of giving everyone back home, Merle would be the better choice, but having the Duke back to at least lead the people would be a good stabilizer during unknown times.
I mean, while I agree, I think it is most optimal to have Merle back. Unfortunately, I am biased. I miss my comrade deeply. But I also do think that we are already seeing growth in this city under your rule, Duchess. And I would...
jumps out at you in anger and says, "You really think Elturel could be led by a woman?"
Ah! You know,
Who said that?
Archmage.
I'm hanging this guy more.
You know, Archmage. Did you know that there is a one-way ticket back to your realm, and I can grant that to you?
His eyes widen. You
Right now.
dare. It's
I
not
can
that
do
she's
it.
not doing a good job, but Elturel needs a leader, a strong lead.
And I see that you are part of this
Great.
council, trying to become part of this leadership. And unfortunately, you have vied against the Duchess?
Venick also speaks up and says, "Did you know that the Boros are led by a woman as well?"
Far more powerful than you may ever imagine.
A look
You
of, a
should
look
watch
of
your tongue.
shock, just kind of.
So,
I cast my vote for the Grand Duke. The Osiv says,
Well, after that outburst, I'm definitely going with Joram just to piss you off.
okay, now back to what Zorax was saying, because I wanted to get that in there.
before I cast my vote, Archmage,
What?
if I weren't a man recently acquainted with law,
You
I would
tell
have
him,
had you
Father.
gone by now. And my anger has already costed me more than I even care to admit. So, the next time you try to speak up against my compatriots, the Duchess, and women, no less, I suggest you tread carefully next time. Because I've already broken a law once, and who knows?
Once.
I might not be
Once.
afraid to do it again.
Today, maybe. He says,
I've only done it one time.
He says,
You
You
mean
get a
you're only caught
sideways
one time?
look.
Or perhaps
forgive me, Duchess. Just if it wasn't for the Archduke, I would not be here. I speak out of line. The Dark One, Zorax, is... Forgive me.
And on that note, my vote apprehensively goes to Merle.
The spy master steps up. Visania, she says, you must understand that there are those of us who believe that we will never get home. And for that, we have accepted it. So while I believe that our Duchess has done a wonderful job, I too believe that we should bring back the Grand Duke. Because Elturel will be stronger with both of them at its head. And that is how I cast my vote. Alright, I need a head count really quick.
If I
Garmore?
recall, Garmore voted in favor of Merle. Zorax voted for Merle. Joram voted for Joram.
No. Well, Joram voted for Merle.
Oh.
I vote for myself.
If I die, I get to live again.
And then
I got that confused when you first said that.
Archmage
I-
and
I-
the Spy Master voted for the Duke.
So it's
And
3-2.
So that is 3-2 currently.
Who
Yeah.
needs a vote still? Does Osip get a vote?
Is not
Osip.
voted.
Is Osif part of the council?
He is.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's where you guys met him. When the council was formed.
That's true.
Also, Garwin wants to know if the audience gets a vote. How
He's
about
like-
for a tiebreaker, if there is one?
Sure.
That depends on Osif at the moment.
Oh, sick. Because I want a grumpy smoking inventor back. Gosh dang it, Garwin.
Well, I don't know what to say. I did not expect vote to potentially come down to Osif.
We're doomed.
Osif not smartest man. Probably strongest, but not smartest. Osif know this thing. Osiv wander Elturel broken streets. Lots of good people here in Elturel. Lots of pain and suffering. That is to be sure. But I have noticed children play. Parents smile. Families laughing again. So my question, if we do this thing, bring back Merle, and teleport entire city, can we be sure we go home? Or do we end up in another Avernus?
We won't know until we try.
See, that is my concern. What if we're wrong? We do this wrong thing, and we put Elturelians into bad situation again. Either in nightmarish hellscape, or surrounded by giant walking beetles.
Well, Osiv, that's the thing about us being mortals. We hold on to hope and we keep on trying.
And Merle, being one of the smartest men alive in Elturel, being able to give the chance of us getting back home being higher with his revival could spark new hope in the people and further more smiles to their faces.
I would also like to say that you spoke of children being happy and playing, and parents smiling and laughing.
Ha! I rock with one on my shoulder. She really funny. Nina, good girl.
And that also, I would like to ask you then, would that not constitute to how good Duchess's leadership has been in these troubling times?
I am not arguing Duchess's wonderful leadership. She's strong, like man. It's very good. What I worry is we bring back Merle. We move city. And all horror start all over again. Well, I love cracking skulls and breaking ribs. It's all good for me. But not for them. And he points out. He just kind of points outside. They are getting comfortable in their shoes, I think. Do you understand my plight?
You don't know what we have seen out in Ravnica. Apparently, their guildpact, the living guildpact, Jace Beleran, is not on this realm. And as a result, the guilds are in chaos trying to vie control over the other. Chaos ensued, hence the chaos of the Rebel Belt. Fanak can attest to this.
I would also like to you cut in and I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Shit. You're good. Let me try and remember. It was what did he say last right there? It was something that Osiv said right at towards the very end.
I'm sorry, I was typing something, wasn't listening. I'm so sorry.
I don't remember what Osiv said at the very end because it was.
He says
it was a point,
they
and
getting comfortable in their boots.
That's what it was. I would also say that those who do not wish to leave may stay. Maybe they do find that it is a better home here. Maybe they can find a different purpose here than they would in Toril. Who are we to strip that right away from them? I understand that trying this would be scary. Well, okay, maybe not for me personally, but for others it would be scary. But I am not in position to say that we have to force them to come with us. I'm sure that those Elturelians who have already found a home here could do so again once we leave.
I see.
But that is my take on the situation, and I do not assume that I speak for everybody here. Because then we would have to be starting to separate possibly families from one another. And I'm not trying to get into the semantics of that.
I do not know this word.
What word?
Whatever he said.
Semantics.
That one.
So,
What is word?
getting into the details of said thing is probably the best way to say it.
I see.
But it is up to you, Osiv. What is your vote? Possibly.
I'll be honest, my friends. I think that the Grand Duke should be brought back. At least I did. You have persuaded me otherwise, though. If those that are afraid to attempt the return are given option to stay, maybe not so bad.
Might alleviate the stress on them at the very least.
He turns over to Jara and he says, Jara, you were given position on this council, though I don't believe you need to weigh into such things.
Oh, I have
But
a vote.
What?
Oh, I'm voting.
No, Jara.
No,
Jara.
Jara.
Oh,
Jara,
sorry.
Jara.
Didn't Joram already vote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no?
Mostly just to piss
This
off
is,
the Archmage.
He says, if children and families decide to stay, would they be okay? He kind of just, he takes a deep breath and he kind of steps away from the table. He says, I'm going to be honest with you. All of you. I don't believe anybody will have a problem with some staying. But, just like a war, Ravnica is dangerous. And they probably will not be given special treatment. So if they have skills, they will probably excel. If not, I cannot speak for that. Osif say, strongest of the fittest, I get this thing. Strong survive, I understand. Okay, I do this thing. I want to see my family again. I want to see my little daughters. I want to see my little sons. I want to see my nieces, my nephews, my wives, my husbands. I want to see them all. So, if Merle can make this thing happen, I think that would be best.
And I believe
So
we are in
Venick,
accordance.
Venick steps up and says, is that an agreement then?
Is that your final answer?
All right, guys. I'm just saying, I can only do this once.
Rhea stands up and she says, so, it would appear that we are going to accept the benevolence of the Boros Legion,
Well,
and you will resurrect.
Merle Bronson.
I was pausing for effect, dude.
I thought you were confused and lost his name.
I
did
may
too.
have, but that's not the point.
I like how you deny it.
At least you're honest. That's all. I
We don't know. He's the DM.
It was paused for dramatic effect, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Good enough.
Says, we will return Merle Bronson to life in hopes that he and the others can find a way or finish returning us to Elturel.
okay.
So
Well-
the question to you, Master Venick, is what do you need of us?
Payment for my time away from the fronts of the Gruul territories. My leaders said that it should be around 1,000 electum.
I forgot about that currency.
But there's a lot. He, Osip reaches in his pocket. He says, "I got 6."
I don't believe I have any, unfortunately. This will be posing an issue.
I only have gold pieces on me.
As do I.
Rhea looks at you and says, "You have to understand, as visitors, we hath not the coin that your world uses. Is there something else in payment?"
I mean, does like the raw material work too? I mean, 1,000 gold is still 1,000 gold. It's just different currency.
Well,
Except gold isn't the currency. It may not actually have value here, which is why I changed it so it wasn't the same.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gold is a...
In other worlds, you could have credit cards that are the currency. Here, credit cards and gold have value. Gold does not have value here.
Yeah. I know of your work searching for plane shifting. If you share your progress with our leaders, I'm sure they would count that as a payment for both.
Does that, out of character? No, that probably wouldn't. That probably wouldn't do anything because I forget that my memory's been modified. But originally, the conversation was about sharing the info of plane shifting to the Archangel. So I was gonna be like, does that spark anything in me? But I'm kind of like, no, that doesn't work because my memory has been modified, and it doesn't work like that.
No, I think So Rhea looks over to Vanek and says, you didn't say that in character, did you?
No, that was out of character because
Okay.
I don't know that my memory has been modified, so I don't know if I'm allowed to comment on anything like that. So
Nope. Okay.
that's what I thought.
That's fair.
So Rhea does say, "Well, we do not have the coin to pay you. Will exchange of information be acceptable?" My spy master here darts her eyes over to the cloaked woman, is well versed in knowledge of all types.
Perhaps if you wish not to work with the Demir, we may be a value asset that way. Something of a more of an outside influence.
Working around Zemir is preferred, but they have a way of getting their information anyway. Although, if you have information that they do not have,
Will they pay for it? If there's one thing that Elturel has, I guarantee it's information that people from this world do not have.
We have many experts here.
And we're trying to bring one back as we speak. What does Joram think on this?
Well, he knows things, so that checks out.
Fair enough.
So, I ask you, Vanek, will this do? Will the Boros front the cost in exchange for information?
there is a cost for the spell no matter what. If you had anything of value that could be destroyed to compensate for the spell, that could work as well. Anything that would be of the same value of 1,000 electum.
my God.
Osiv says, what about exploding rocks?
What do you mean exploding rocks?
You guys instantly recall the red crystals that Merle had pocketed. Was it Merle? It was Merle, right?
It was Merle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
I
Merle.
thought they were in his own bag of holding, which somehow disappeared upon his death.
It didn't disappear. Didn't he open it and was in the
There's 5 left. We'll just go with that.
So how do we have them? Who has them currently?
well, I assume
Dorm's corpse. Wow, Merle's corpse. That's who
Okay.
has him.
Okay.
Oh fuck.
What
Y'all
happened?
put a bag of holding in a bag of holding.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure you did say something about the bag of holding disappearing because he made it, and since
Yeah.
he died, it no longer exists.
Whew.
Or we could just simply say that we just removed it before we put it in there because we're not stupid.
Because
But
we
would they have
understand
known
that.
though. That's the thing.
Well, you understand how the bag of holding works when you do it, so
Right.
Yeah.
you should. I feel
Okay.
like when
Which
you.
honestly was the train of thought behind Merle's research for a starting point for the trans-dimensional location.
Okay. Okay.
Which he was
Science!
very vocal about.
Fake science.
Whoa!
Rules.
I
Okay,
can't believe it. We're not dead.
So, those, let me do I gotta, oh my god, I don't think we've rolled any dice at all.
No, it's just
Well,
all
I
dead
did.
roleplay. Well, yeah, I guess Matt did one time, yeah.
What do you need, DM?
No, I'm rolling for, who's trained in Arcana?
Jorm is.
All right, Joram, give me an Arcana check. This is a big one. Don't mess it up.
Okay. Let's see here. He's at this nice train.
Can I
Get
guide him
here.
and enhance him?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Joram, you have advantage and you have a D4.
Ooh. Fun stuff. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, that's going to be a 25.
So as you're rifling through, because I guess we're going under the assumption that you guys kept all of Merle's equipment, right?
Yeah.
Which would be in your bag of holding.
Yes.
Who's carrying the bag of scolding? Sorry.
Joram.
So Joram goes to, God damn it, goes to reach in. What do you want, boy?
Well, you know the body we unfortunately stuffed in you. I know you want it out. So
Oh yeah,
we-
you know how bad that tastes? Like I hadn't showered in a week.
Well, okay, before we do this, we should probably find somewhere a little more private than this council table before we
And you
start.
look over, and Rhea's mouth is just like dropped open.
We need to do this
did
in a
that
like a
bag
tent,
Just
something.
did that bag?
It's a
just
long
talk?
story. I've known Joram a lot longer than this one. And he points to Zorax. It's a long story. Really can't much explain it, but it works just like a bag of holding.
How come
It's
everyone
just
pretends that I ain't even here?
Oh, you're here, Juanita. And we
Yeah,
love you
I
for
know
it.
that. Why doesn't he? If I had fingers, I'd be pointing over at that Garmore right now. Talking
Again,
as if I ain't here.
I implore everybody for the gruesome content that we may be releasing, that temporarily you may want to leave the room.
It's not going to be pretty.
So Devin is super intrigued. He walks over. He says, "Oh my, how is that even possible? A
we
sentient
don't know.
Magic.
bag of holding. I have never seen such a thing. You must let me stay."
I mean, you could stay, but I'm just telling you that there is a warning that what you are about to see is not going to be pretty. How strong is your stomach?
He kind of just looks down. He says, "Fair enough."
That's all I'm saying, because you got to remember there
and
is
he
a
just
body
says-
in there.
he
Who is
says,
Devin,
"Yeah,
by the
it's
way?
fine." Well, are you
I've
gonna
missed-
pull the body out?
That's what
Yeah,
I
we're talking
thought
about
we were
jewels
about
right
to
now.
do, because that's what I thought you were intending to do.
Well, I thought he was got to pull the jewels out
Oh,
for the
Huh.
spell. See
I
if they
thought we
can
were gonna
substitute
rip
it.
the body out. I was like, Jesus.
I mean, at some point.
I think. So everyone just kind of stands back. They're all in kind of shock. Well, what do you want, Jorm? I ain't got all day. I got
Well, we
things to
just-
do.
Well, we just
What the hell's a bag of holding got to do?
we just need to remove the dead bodies that's stinking up your insides.
How is Vanek feeling right now?
Confused.
Confused. Yeah, very confused.
That's fair.
He kind of looks at the bag of holding and goes, "Is it evil or cursed or what? What is
Who you
that?"
call cursed?
Oh,
I don't
should
go
not have
around
said that.
saying you look
Should
ugly.
not have said that.
I'm a hobgoblin.
Just 'cause I'm a
being called
bag-
ugly isn't something that's new.
What? I don't have eyes, fool.
Oh,
Just trying to make a point.
But she did
What
have
is it you
eyes.
want, Jorm? I ain't got all day. Hurry up. Let's go.
Okay, this is not gonna be pretty. Good lord, this is not gonna be pretty.
Would you? Okay.
I-
What? Hey, what did I tell you about reaching in without asking?
You said we wanted the body out. What do you?
Alright, Juanita, may we please remove the body?
Well, that depends. I'm
Here's
just
the
gonna-
thing, Juanita.
Say
Juanita.
what?
Here's the thing. We take it out. It's never going back into you ever again.
So let's get something clear. Are you pulling out the body and the jewels are attached, or are you reaching in and just pulling out the jewels? Because to my understanding, the discussion is Venerak needs a high value jewels to cast the spell.
yeah,
Or is the
something-
jewels on Merle, or you think they are, and you're pulling them out because he's carrying them?
Well, I mean,
How about we pull the jewels out first for safety, and then we pull out Jordan's rotting
Okay,
corpse.
okay. So you do plan to pull both out. All right. But you got to make sure that the jewels are going to be acceptable enough.
Right.
yeah.
My goodness. That was a confusion clusterfuck there. My bad.
Okay.
So as you reach in, here, that tickles. And then you kind of just imagine the red crystals, and you pull out these long red crystals, about 8 inches long. She goes, "Well, what am I gonna do? That was the only nice decorations I had."
That's not true, and you know it.
Oh yeah, what do you consider good decorations, huh?
Why, many things.
I just realized my window's open and my neighbors are outside. They must think I'm just a effing weirdo.
What's new?
I mean,
It's
you're
like
also
getting
on
away
the
from
internet. Does it really matter?
I thought they already
Um,
know that you're weird.
Well, they're older, so I don't know that they know that I'm weird.
He's
they might, I
casting
guess.
spells in there.
Summon the demons. They
Oh
go
my
for me.
god!
So as
He's
you pull
got
the
them
jewels out,
Luigi boards.
Vanek, you do you look at the crystals and they look not dissimilar to diamonds, but are red.
Right.
That's why.
Well, if I had to guess, and you say they just have magical properties, yes?
Yep.
Indeed.
You can give me an Arcana check if you want.
Okay. A 10 on my Arcana check.
Yeah, sure, maybe.
I would
Take it.
advise you be gentle with those.
I would say
Jorah's like, why?
Well.
Yeah, why, Zorax?
Oh, right. I'm the only one in this room that knows about this. They explode.
Oh, I remember your big friend saying something about that. I am going to put this down very carefully right here. And he sets it on the table.
You're
Garth
free to
steps very
late.
inspect, but they do explode.
Okay.
About the size of, and you see Zorax take a look around. About 5 times this building.
And he had these the entire time?
Yeah, we were gonna use them to like make stuff.
So, just so we're clear, when I cast this spell to resurrect your friend, I'm going to destroy these.
No, you're going to consume them. That's very different.
Yeah, saying this.
Because remember, we did use them for plane shifting to get here,
Right.
and they didn't explode, even through interdimensional travel.
That's
so-
what I was wondering. As long as you've used them for a similar task in the past, this could be... That's useful information. I'm glad I'm not going to explode.
Jorah says, you hope.
Nah.
As he's slowly edging back farther away from Venak. Is it Venak?
Venak.
Venak, okay.
I just want to say, Jara, that no matter how far you walk, the shrapnel will get you.
Yet another piece of
You may as well get the front row seat if you're going to be moving back.
I think I want to go get my shield now.
Hmm.
I
I'm not
understand.
sure how I feel about that.
Yes.
Garmer's just face palming over the distinction that Zorax left out important information again.
You didn't need to know. You never had them. I don't see how this is important. It's just like a tool, like anything else. You can literally summon 8 wolves on a whim. So what? Now, like, Merle has the ability to just throw, like, basically a hand grenade at people? I think it's the same thing when you can literally cast a fireball. I don't see how this is important.
As Venek is preparing to get ready to resurrect Merle, you hear him cast Death Ward on himself before he starts.
That's really
You
good.
see a similar spell being chanted by the Archmage.
I suggest, well, how big is this room?
I would say probably 30 feet in diameter.
I would
Radius.
suggest... Oh,
Diameter is
well.
too small.
Does Garmore see anything unusual in the room?
Oh, it's not on the cleric or the wizard spell list, so he can't. He casts his mage armor on himself and on Rhea.
I just recommend that everyone stands, generally speaking, within 20 feet of me if something does go awry, but I do not believe anything will.
Oh, there's no if.
So, Rhea steps forward and says, "Well, if we are agreed in exchange for information, or will these gems be enough for what you need?"
Judging by their power, if they're powerful enough to plane shift you, 4 maybe would be enough for the spell.
Devin says there's a lot of power contained in those things. I would be very concerned. You see this as he casts mage armor. You see this like bluish translucent shield of energy kind of flicker around himself and around Rhea Mantlemorn. It flickers out and then it kind of shrinks till it matches almost like a second skin and then flickers out of existence. She says, "Well, recover Merle and let us know what else you need."
I guess it's time to bring out Merle.
Those with weak stomachs, look away, please.
Nobody ever cares if I got a weak stomach. You still toss him right in here with no problem.
I'm
We have
putting my
myself.
hand into the bag of holding.
You do what?
I'm putting my hand into Juanita.
Whoa. You did not ask.
What do you think you're doing, boy? Why is everyone always so rude, just sticking their hands into my hole?
Do you want
Remember
this body
Garmore?
out of you or not, Juanita?
He has
Consent.
feelings, you know.
Nobody
Remember,
ever cares
Garmore?
what I think. How I'm
need
feeling.
consent.
It's all about you. Selfish sentient humanoids, mostly mostly bags of water.
Yeah, I suppose.
The bag of holding seems quite intelligent.
More than I care to admit.
Well, thank you for the
Fine.
compliment, sir.
Fine, you deal with it, Dora.
I appreciate that. Everyone is just so quick to just use me and abuse me. But you, sir, such a gentleman throwing nice words around.
She has feelings, you know.
I can see that.
So as Garmore has thrust his hand deep into the bag of holding, he's thinking of Merle and reaches around until he grabs something round and squishy and has a nice firm hold.
Yuck.
Oh, boy.
Your hands kind of roll into some strange hardened crispy spots, a little bit of jagged something, almost like you just stuck your hands in spaghetti with bones in it as you start pulling out. And first thing that comes out, the bag seems to extend to its full weight, and you're kind of pulling. The first thing that comes out is what looks like a shattered arm. As you're pulling it out, it's all just splattered flat. You're pulling it out, and that you kind of get stuck a little bit, and you have to pull, and you hear a crack as what's left of his splattered head gets popped out. And you start just pulling him out, and you see the blood is just dripping down. And you hear Juanita, this is awful. I hate you for this, Joram. As you pull out his body,
I'll make it up to you, I promise.
And falls to the ground.
With a plasticky wet sound. Just
as it just goes and as it lands on the ground.
Well, it's a good thing I've seen a lot of disgusting things in battle. This is as bad as they get.
Care to help me readjust him, Sir Vanak?
I can help you with that, yes.
All
I
right.
don't think there's any. You can't just adjust that. It's like he looks like a flattened pile of trousers.
Fennec bends down and does his best to kind of
shape him
put
back
him
together.
in the best position possible for when the spell is cast.
I'm looking at saying this as the player, I'm looking at the description of the spell, and it does say the spell closes all mortal wounds and restores any missing body parts.
Right.
Do you have that spell?
No, I'm just saying this as the player.
Yeah, I have it open. It's literally on my screen.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Well, I
Had
did
it
not
open
know
for
that.
like an hour.
I did not know that.
Yes, I've been talking to the person who's going to cast it, making sure we got our shit straight.
I think I confused people. I worded it wrong earlier. I think I said that if they're missing limbs, I could do it, but that's fine. If they're missing limbs,
Yeah.
the spell will still work.
And he had told me he caught that, and I was like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
We got it.
Okay.
He wasn't missing any limbs anyway. He was just a little.
I would argue he's missing all the things that are in them. Did you ever watch Men in Black with the insect guy that kills the farmer, and then his body just plants up over top of the head and drags it back down? The
Like a
Edgar
skin
suit, that's
suit.
totally what I'm envisioning right now, except more gore and more blood and everything. All right, so Rhea takes a deep breath and swallows what's left of her lunch. Got him. All right, why don't you bring him to the center area, and we'll let you get started.
Right. Venek prepares himself. It's a difficult spell. He collects 4 of the crystals off the table and walks over to Merle's body and looks around at everybody and asks, "Are you all ready?"
We are.
As we'll ever be.
Okay. He reaches down, puts a hand on what's left of Merle, and casts Resurrection, a 7th level.
Alright. So I'm gonna extend that a little bit. So
Yes.
as he before he places his hand on him, he pulls out a bit of white chalk and draws a very complicated like pentagram on the ground. This very intricate design, and upon closer inspection, you all can give me a religion check. I'm going to describe it anyway, but you'll see what your characters know, right? This very intricate design. He spends probably about 30 minutes actually preparing this area
26.
of this. So what everyone get?
19.
26.
13.
19.
And Venak already knows what it all is, so.
Right.
Zorax, as you look down, you think that's a really nice drawing he's made. It's definitely a collection of ritualistic sigils, but it doesn't really mean a whole hell of a lot to you. The rest of you guys actually realize that the entire complicated circle represents the life of a person, almost the circle of life from birth till death, and then there's a small part that connects the two, and then all the different arrows and sigils draw to different parts of the creature's time in life, and it's basically showing almost like a guidepost at the point of returning the body to the way it was upon death. And as he begins chanting, he starts taking this kind of complicated motions of his hands up to the sky, bringing it back down, very Tai Chi like. And as he's chanting, there's a lot of ritualistic babble about binding the souls from shit. I forgot the afterlife in Ravnica. I think there's an actual name for it. What happens to dead people's souls in Ravnica, Google? Hey, you laugh. It's got an answer for me.
I do laugh.
Okay. So you hear something. You clearly can pick out the term Agarim, something about a spiritual district, and pulling the souls from other worlds. So that's interesting.
Do I, because I have the ability to see souls, do I actually see?
So you see as Venerak reaches up, you see him reach into this almost like this glowing bubble that only you can see, Zorax, of all these spiritual auras kind of floating together, and it takes you a minute to realize they're all souls. As he's reaching through, the air kind of distorts like a heat wave, and then a hand through water creating ripples. As he reaches out and he grabs something, and Venerak, you start pulling as you have the perfect image and connection to this soul. You start to see these memories flash before you of this young child tinkering with a variety of gizmos and toys and taking things apart and putting them back together and drawing, in sand, all these complex designs. A parent or adult figure wandering on, tell him to stop wasting his time, kicking it around, all this stuff. And as you pull, the shape starts to take a form, a spiritual form that slowly becomes a humanoid form. And as you pull it, it looks like this big bearded. I forgot what race. You're human race, right?
Yeah.
You see this big bearded guy, a cigar, a transparent cigar in his mouth, and he's tinkering with this just complex bauble. You have no idea what it is. This his entire body is now slowly coated in these just complex transparent machinery. You see little like insect robot things running up on his head and all around his body as he's tinkering, and he kind of looks startled as you reach out to him, and he looks down at what looks to be a device, and he's tapping on it. He kind of just shrugs. He reaches out and grasps your hand and welcomes and says, no, he doesn't say something yet. As you pull him down, you bring him down and you lay him into his body. And as this is happening, his entire body is snapping into place. His bones are reforging. The energy is rushed into a bright glow of green and black energy that fills and lights up the entire room. After what seems like an eternity, an hour passes. The figure on the ground begins to twitch and move and sits up and says,
"What took you so long, idiots?"
Zorax's eyes have never been this wide before. He's never seen anything like this, let alone had the ability to see anything like this.
Then it kind of falls backwards toward the table.
Looks at watch. Yep, you're late.
Venek. That's
well. You know what's Merle after that statement.
So Merle, I need you to give me an intelligence check to see how much you're able to recall of the afterlife. You will have to check at disadvantage.
Okay. Is it strip intelligence?
Yeah, there's not really a skill for this, so. I love it when Ian giggles. It's so infectious.
Is it a double crit?
No, I rolled 2 17s.
No, that'll do it. All right.
Wow.
So as you're
Wait, that's the raw roll is 17.
So as you
dice. And it's not including my
begin to replay what happens. The last thing you remember is your body being slammed in the ground and a light appearing above you, and just all the schematics in the world beckoning to you. All the devices, all the little toys and gizmos that you ever wanted pull to you. You recall spending a near eternity, thousands of years, tinkering with toys. But you only can remember the high points of some of your greatest inventions. I will give you one artifact level magic item that you have to approve with me that you can craft for your next campaign with this character.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking awesome.
You know the stuff I've been pitching in the past, so be careful with that.
I know. It's fine. Like I said, you're going to talk to me about it first. We'll get it, but I want to reward your death in return.
Wow.
Plus, you never got to use the blueprint I gave you, so because you traded away, you bastard. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, put that in there for you to build, and then you gave it away. I'm like, that was the Kowalsh machine, whatever it is, which I think is a legendary or artifact. I don't remember.
Wait, you mean the only blueprint I recall is a diagram for that one infernal machine from Avernus?
Yeah, that was the Kowalsh thingy-mabobber. Just with a different shape.
That was a negotiation tool.
Yeah, and you got rid of it. I was like, oh my god. Anyway, the room is kind of in shock right now. Osif runs over and gives a big old hug, burning the side of his face on the newly lit cigarette that your pal Merle has lit up immediately.
Yep.
He's like, God, fucking damn it.
Everyone's just kind of like, well, that appears to have worked. We could not have done it without you, Venek.
Thank you. You can see Venek is just exhausted. Like, his face is drained. He's barely standing by the edge of the table. And he asks, is there someplace I can go lie down?
Yes, of course. There's an empty room off to the left. Just push past the giant living plants that the Conclave dropped off. Merle died to 69 D12 OSIN damage. Hug damage.
Love it.
As Venek goes by the plants, he's gonna touch one to support himself. Does he feel anything weird about them?
That depends. I don't know what you mean by weird.
You said they were dropped off by the Conclave?
The Conclave, yep. The Selesnian Conclave.
Could he just do
So,
a nature check?
Nature
to
check?
see
Yeah,
if-
you can give me a nature check. I didn't know if you were looking for anything in particular. Nature check.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of stuffy in here.
No, he only rolled a 5. He's pretty exhausted.
Nothing that you noticed. You don't really recognize the plants, even though you've been to many of the Conclave's gardens.
Okay. Then he
Oh, I think I figured out my legendary item.
he goes to lay down then, and then I guess I'll go back to being Rhea for now. If that's okay. Maybe.
No. Something's gone wrong.
So, I'm interested to see how we work Dorm and Merle together here once that comes up.
I mean,
Well,
we
they're
did
just-
it before.
Well, they're just beside themselves right now.
So, with that, Rhea says, "It's good to have you return, Merle. You don't know what we had to give up to return you. We're relying heavily on you and your allies to return Elturel. Please don't die on us again."
It's on my to-do list.
Justin, out of character real quick, do you want me to take back control of Rhea now that Venek is out of the picture?
If you would like to, yes. It's weird talking to myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And then
Especially when I'm
always-
going back between Rhea and her other council members that aren't you guys.
I know we're trying to balance it here, so I'm trying to help
That's
where I
fine.
can with it, yeah.
I appreciate it. Devin says, thank you so much. Devin says, you know, in my old lanky ears, I've seen a lot. I know resurrection is possible. I have seen the revivify spell, but I have never seen anything like that. I have only heard of true resurrection spells. It was mighty impressive of the Boros Legion. It's no wonder that the cost was so mighty. The components alone required so much arcane focus.
I could see
I wish
the maneuvering of souls with my very eyes. It was nothing short of impressive. I've never seen anything like it. Not even
I could only feel the weaves, and it blew me away.
imagine seeing it, seeing him, the sea of souls, and him just reaching out and just plucking Merle. It was, I've, in all my time of being able to see the soul of an individual and seeing the beyond, I've never in my life have seen such dexterity.
So,
Rhea,
go ahead.
Rhea looks at the table and sees there's only one crystal left. And goes, he won't be able to cast that spell for a while, I'm sure. But we don't have nearly enough to bring the Grand Duke back if he is able to try it again. I might have an idea. Let me go look. And Rhea exits.
Okay. She exits out in her personal chambers or out through the main exit? She has a private chamber. It's kind of like a judge's got the little private room in the back.
Yes, goes to her private chamber.
Okay.
Or no, goes out the main entrance. Sorry, that
Okay.
doesn't make sense. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Not yet.
Okay. The Osiv stands up and says, "It's good to see you, my friend. I was worried you were dead permanently. You were only mostly dead, and I'm cool with that.
Which means
I have questions, though. What?
Which means I was slightly alive.
Right. Yes, you were. Good stuff. I appreciate it. So, so you're going to try to get us home. It sounded like, to my understanding, you had the plan?
I always have a plan. Never said it's a good
Does
plan.
it
I always have
did
one.
it involve dying?
Well, not on purpose.
I see. Well, good to be back. So tell me what's kind of going through Garmore's mind right now.
I don't know what you got. One.
He is surprised that such spells have worked, but he thinks back on his past, thinking if only such spells had worked on those that were lost on that tragic day. And
Well,
he
so
kind of
this
in his head kind of lowers, like the cowl of his hood is drooping over him.
The spy master walks over and says, "I understand your feelings, but we must remember, our goal is to return to our home. So we must do everything, even with the loss of the Grand Duke. I believe you, if my agents are anything to say of, you and your party are strong. We will all return home soon. I promise you that." And she begins to head out.
As Garmore is standing there, he feels something kind of touch his shoulder, and when he looks over, he sees a spider holding a tiny piece of paper.
He hesitantly takes it.
He's like, what the fuck? What is going on?
And he's not losing eye contact with the spider, by the way.
Do you have are you casting speak with animals or anything like that?
No, I do not have that prepared, unfortunately.
There's not really a lot of animals in Ravnica, admittedly.
That's an excellent point.
But insects, on the other hand, he takes the letter and doesn't lose eye contact with the spider.
Which eye are you looking at? Spiders have a lot.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
okay.
Justin, you are such a troll.
I
Is this news?
It kind of looks back up at you. You take the letter. Do you read it?
He goes into a corner. He's gonna leave the room.
Okay.
And he looks around. What does he does he passively see anyone nearby?
Give me a perception check.
I said passively. Skills. Perception. I'm gonna use that.
And Justin, I picked out a magic item that I think is more than appropriate for the campaign, and you're gonna hate me for it.
Oh no.
That means I'm gonna hate you, but I'm gonna love it too. Why don't you share it in our Crit Academy host channel or the
Will
Planeshifters
do.
channel.
Will do.
I rolled a 14 perception.
All right. You don't see anybody in the immediate, but you can hear some footsteps down a hall moving towards you. But you feel like you have plenty of private time to. Oh, son of a bitch! Where did you even find that? What book is that in? That's.
I felt like the DMG.
You know what? I totally think that that's perfect.
That's why I picked it.
That is perfect, and I don't hate you for it. It's perfect.
Your initial reaction says otherwise.
Because he had to think on it for a bit. He's like,
I did.
no, I like this.
And actually, I can fit it into the campaign perfectly. So, well done, Ian. Well done.
Should be
So
good to pick a giant robot or a bazooka.
Garmore quickly opens the letter.
As you read it, it says, "Meet me at the Red House." The Red House is a well-known area to you. You've passed it numerous times walking through Elturel. I'm trying to debate whether you would. Yeah, it just says, "Meet me at the Red House."
Okay. He folds the letter, hides it in one of his pockets, and returns to the chamber.
Okay. So as you walk back in, you see kind of some skirmish coming, and Devin says, "We still haven't discussed the matter at hand. I don't know why Rhea had left. Probably that time, weak stomach and all."
I mean, we
need
did
to
just
decide.
see a lot of things in a relatively
Yes,
short amount of
yes.
time.
I'm sorry, DM. What was there a time specified
Nope.
in the letter?
Not at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
You So as you guys are kind of having this bit of kind of mumbling around the room, Devin's kind of getting impatient. He doesn't know where. He says, "I don't know where the Duchess is gone, but we should start to work on a plan. It sounds like, to me, we have a few options. With Merle back, I would be excited to hear what his plans are for this device, for this thing that will help us get return to our home."
Garmore's
Sorry,
gone to search for Rhea.
Okay.
And
What's going through? What's Zorax doing? What's kind of going through his mind at the moment?
he kind of is processing his ability to see souls and how he just kind of saw what he just did, and he kind of like extending the thought to, what other things can I see in this ethereal plane? I wonder if I could see, even if he's just kind of like working out like the machinations of his new power that he's recently acquired from being level 15, which is the perfect perception. And then after that, he kind of has like this sense of relief that like he doesn't feel like he's working on a timer now. He feels like things can finally go a little more smoothly without any immediate pressing matters. Like, oh, we had to find something while also saving the Duke at the same time. There's not that pressure anymore. So he finally feels a little less on edge. And now he can be like, I can finally focus on one thing at a time instead of multiple things at a time and trying to worry about the steps of getting there. Because now he thinks things are a little more streamlined now.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
because he's at the end of the day he is a soldier, and he knows where his best qualities are, and he knows that it's not here.
Yep.
What about go ahead and give me an investigation check, Garmore.
I'm going.
What's
to
going through
guide.
Jorum's mind right now?
Oh,
And Merle's, I guess.
Yep.
is Jara still here?
He is.
Is it okay if I can ask him something real quick? Sorry, Ian.
Have at it.
Hello, Jara.
Yeah. What's up?
While you're here, actually, this is
He
a
wouldn't
good
say that.
opportunity.
Yes, sir.
I was told that when I was out on the Rubble Belt that I was still awaiting a trial from one of the angels. Do you have any knowledge on that? Because last I checked, I was told to go there and then I was sent back. I'm not sure. There seems to be
Give me
some
an insight check.
confusion.
Garmore rolled 8 on investigation, and that's including guidance.
I'm never going to roll good on this ever. Hold on. I'm going to use one of my talents. Can I actually? Yes, I can. Unbelievable. Just when I think as a player, I'm like, finally, I have the drop on something. Fucking, I can never roll.
Yep. I'm just picturing now. Merle, didn't you die? Sadly, yes. But I lived!
Oh, I have a +6 to insight. Thank God. Cool. That is a 19. Wait. Yes, a 19.
So you can see him shift nervously when he says, "Oh, well, I don't really know. That's a bit above my pay grade, to be honest. I don't really have any control over what they do or how they do it. They're their process is not very well refined, mostly because all they do is argue amongst themselves." And you see him kind of his eyes looking away every few seconds, and you can tell that he's a little uncomfortable as he's talking to you. Meanwhile, Garmore, you start kind of wandering through the halls left and right, and you find Rhea bent over a large pot, yakking her brains out.
Rhea! And he rushes over to her.
I have.
It's okay.
I think
It's
something fun in store for
fine.
the DM. And it won't be me being angry.
I wanted to go find something of enough value, if we could, to bring back the Grand Duke, and it's not working. It's not going well at all. As you can see, the Merle situation is bothering me.
Does he believe her?
Would you question the Duchess at this moment?
I'm asking the DM.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, fair enough.
You could.
Give me an insight check.
Okay. Oh, come on! Why am I rolling low?
Feel that. So I took a thing to make it better.
I used
Bless you.
guidance. I rolled a 16.
Doesn't seem very low to me.
I rolled a natural 6.
So what? I rolled a natural 4.
So as she's kind of
feel
wiping
that.
her mouth, takes a deep breath. You don't see any nervous tics or there's no like beads of sweat or anything like that. That you're cues that you usually kind of keep an eye out for when somebody's not being genuine.
She goes, Garmore, thank you for coming to help me. And then she reaches in her pocket, pulls out a piece of paper. And she kind of slowly opens it and goes, How did that get there?
What does it say?
It's from your changeling friend, Echo.
What does it say?
Echo. I've been wanting to do that forever. Sorry.
It says he's been reassigned. The Demirs put him on a different mission. He wants to work with you, and he knows that you, specifically, understand his predicament. What does he mean by that?
He pulls out the letter he received, looks at it again. Does it have Echo's name on it as a signatory?
This one does, yes.
I'm asking the DM.
Yours doesn't. But when you compare the two notes together, the writing is the same.
This is
Appears to
Echo's-
be the same.
Presuming it's not forged. Yeah.
There's much-
She kind of gives you the notes, as you can look at it too. Apparently he'll be gone for some time working for the Demir, but wants to work with you still.
Something isn't right here. I don't like this. Not at all. And he starts to breathe a little heavy. He is thinking back something in his past. Rhea can't figure out what that is because can't get a good read on him because of his mask and the cowl of his hood covering him. It's hard to get a beat on him, but his heavy breathing suggests that he doesn't like the situation with these two letters.
What did your letter say?
It's odd. This is generally the same writing as Echo's. If yours is believed to be his handwriting. Says to meet whoever sent this at the Red House. Doesn't specify which time. I do not like this. I have... Let's just say that I have had a heavily negative experience with his kind.
I see.
It did not bode well for many sides on that day.
Well,
And
then maybe it's for the best that he works separately from you then.
I don't know. Perhaps once Merle feels better, he would, as fully recovered, he would give me insight on this. Do you mind if I hold on to your letter?
No, that's fine.
Alright. And he takes the two letters, hides, and puts them in the same pocket that he put the first one originally. And he says, well, the Baron is growing impatient with you. You've been gone too long and I grew concerned. So perhaps it's best that we do not keep him waiting.
I rule this city. He can wait.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, he can wait a little.
You make a good point.
That was glorious. All right. So meanwhile, back in the hall of no. So you guys are sitting around. Merle, you've just went through an extraordinary ordeal. Everything doesn't feel quite right. Your even though your body is fresh, it's like glistening. And you're absolutely exhausted, like you just ran, for days. You're a little wobbly on your feet. You got a little bit of double vision going on. Still puffing on that cigar pretty good. You got that lit up.
Yep.
Taking deep breaths. You got all these different ideas that are popping around in your head. Because you remember your time studying and understanding, you kind of have a better understanding of the universe's nature. You definitely can tell you couldn't remember everything,
Right.
but you were able to kind of spend like a century just tinkering and trying to understand things in this other world that you were in. So you were able to transition some of that knowledge here. And when you turn, Osif says, "My friend, what's it like to be dead? I would
Here.
like to find out personally, but I don't know that I would come back."
Gears, my friend. Lots of gears.
Ears? What is wrong with my ear? Do I have something in my ear?
Gears with a G.
A who? I got a G. What? I don't. Ear.
Lots of shall we say, some polygonal entities. Stiff.
That's a big word.
It is.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. You're going to help us get all home. Zorax, come here. Come here, my friend. I have
Hold on,
questions
I'm
for
having
you.
a conversation with
What?
Jara.
So, who cares about Jara?
There's something wrong.
True.
I will be with you in a
Okay.
moment.
While they're talking, I think Rhea and Garmore could re-enter the hall.
Okay.
What have we missed?
Oh, you not miss much. Devin complaining. Spy Master spying. Zorax and Jorah talking. Merle talking about ears. It's been good conversation.
Garmar looks to Merle with a gesture from his body language.
What, you never heard the realm of Mechanicus?
He tilts his head in utter confusion, and he just shakes his head. And then he walks up to Zorax and Jara. What have you two been talking about?
A private matter, if you would let us have a moment.
Oh?
I don't know
What
why
about-
men talk about their privates. That's strange.
Oh my god.
I think I'll just stick to swords. Oh! Is that what you're doing?
Yes, we're discussing our sword length.
Size
Oh my
matters. Don't
gosh.
let anybody tell you otherwise. Rhea kind of enters and everyone just kind of stops and kind of is looking at you guys. Everyone just kind of nods and goes and takes their seats. Everyone's got these really long, high back chairs. You can tell that they were donated because each of them have sigils of each of the 10 guilds in this area. Devin turns whenever you're ready, Duchess.
I guess now that we have Merle back, welcome back, Merle.
Thank you. Good to
Officially.
be back.
And you said there was a contract with is it correct?
Of course.
In in that contract, did it say anything about you dying?
Why, yes, it did.
I guess the important thing is, do we lose everything if you die?
Justin, what do I remember with the contract?
Anything you make while under their employ belongs to Izzet. You are the creator. All credits go to you, but they are allowed to expand upon and study, especially upon your death.
Okay.
And does the contract by any chance is it have any clauses about resurrections or being not dead anymore?
I was wondering if there was something about that, but I think it is incredibly important that you go to the Izzet Guild as soon as possible and let them know you're not dead.
On the flip side, would they have denied I died in the first place?
Brings a valid point.
Word does travel fast here.
And for all they probably cared, I just probably clocked out for a day or two.
Fair.
Well, I think we need to get to the point at hand. Do we have an action plan, Duchess, Merle, and the rest of you, on what we need to do? Since Merle, all this plan is pivotal on you. What is it do you need? What is it we need to get, that we need to acquire to get us home?
Well, funny that you ask. A lot.
Oh,
We're gonna need some mithril. Lots of mithril.
Do you have a number in mind,
3,000
quantifiable?
pounds.
That's a lot of mithril.
Yes, it is.
Do they even have mithril here? Jorah kind of nods. And he's like, he's got an exasperated, and he goes, "Yeah, we got it. It's
We're
gonna
also
be
gonna
hard
need
to
a
get."
true platinum transformer, an arc-like conduit, a flux capacitor, and
I tried to slip that in there without laughing, and I couldn't. Sorry.
Although a Planeswalker Spark, we can get our hands on one of those, could be served as a substitute for a couple of those parts I just mentioned, but that's another topic unto itself. They don't exactly grow on trees.
I mean, hold on. You said a Planeswalker Spark?
Yeah.
what is
Oh.
that? Is that their
We
That's
heart
do
the-
or
have
something?
to kill the... Oh dear.
So that would
So
involve.
no matter what, we have to kill a... Yikes.
Nah, he said that would be a substitute. So, but
Yeah.
it depends. Which is harder, to get all those materials or fighting a guy who's probably more powerful than gods? Kinda depends.
The spy master kind of takes a deep breath and says, she kind of pulls her hood down, and you can see now for the first time that she has pigtails that come back and then tie into one around the back of her head into a single ponytail, and she says, "Well, let's take assessment. I think that if my contacts are correct, we should be able to work with the Selesnya Conclave to get access to Mithril. The Druids have a close connection to the planet here, so I believe that finding Mithril will probably be within their wheelhouse, if I had to be honest. I need to understand what exactly is a true platinum transformer."
Well...
Could-
Okay. Merle probably knows, but I'm not Merle.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I just figured you would say he goes into a long rant
Yep.
about transformers being passive components of, transferring electrical or power energy into multiple circuits. So that's technically what they are, but obviously we're not dealing with electricity. We're dealing with, raw arcane
Right.
power. So he does go on this extensive rant for like 10 minutes of the intricacies of this tool. And she says, "Wow, this is going to be difficult.
Probably acquire one from the Is It? It's a long shot.
Maybe.
Garmore looks to Merle and Zorax. Didn't we help the Is It League get a jewel for Merle's initiation as a supervisor?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
And Emerald Dragon's Heart. It was awesome.
It was a pretty
Could
fun
that-
time.
Could that be used as a core for this
Good time?
transformer?
Who said good time?
Well,
No, Osif, not right now.
so
Aw.
I don't know if that would work the same. I mean, it's more like a power source, but we need something that transfers power by the sounds of it.
And not to mention the type of power does matter too.
And Merle would know the type of power you need can be created by the arc light conduit and a combination of arc light conduit and a flux capacitor.
Or a Planeswalker Spark, but yeah.
Which will substitute for both of those.
This is quite a shopping cart.
Devin turns over and says,
Mithril ain't cheap.
"So part of my research since I've arrived is studying the creatures of this land. And when you say arc light, I have seen this term used in reference to a particular beast. They are formed during arc storms. They're powerful electrical elementals called arc light phoenixes. And if my lore serves me right, which it does, the phoenix heart or soul, spirit, whatever this arc light elemental power that gives them form, is a rebirthing power. One that when it fizzles out, it regrows and returns to life.
So it has a
This-
time limit on top of that.
That would be the case. But unlike most conduit or most energy sources, it may run out, but it will give birth to a new one, making it potentially a source of infinite reusable energy, albeit with a bit of a downtime.
Potential perpetual energy. Excellent.
And then, of course, I don't know much. What can you tell us about the flux capacitor?
Well, short version, it kind of tears a hole in the fabric of space and time. Fun stuff.
See, so that must be the tool that harnesses the arc light's energy and creates a focal point.
Huh.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
what are you going to call this thing that we are trying to create?
I believe one name that I came across was the Transflux Dimensional Ripper.
Jorah says, that just sounds horrible.
It is.
It
Why don't
sounds
you call it-
correct.
Why not just call it the Dimensional Ripper?
Because it,
because it's fun.
yeah,
Because that's less fun.
spoken like a true scientist.
Yeah,
his
This
work.
This sounds like something that Is It would build that would destroy this world.
Not
Well,
on purpose.
I'm not too
That's
keen
not-
about harnessing the power of a storm phoenix.
Well, as long as you can walk through it and you don't appear in this like warm and covered in black stuff, you should be okay.
I got that reference.
I did. My mind is still
So-
a little leaky.
I guess
Reference
the question
blue.
comes down to is, what is the first step that we take?
Well,
Duchess?
first off, I need to drop a blueprint and submit a diagram and some plans to the Izzet Guild for approval, and then fill some requisitioning forms and so on and so forth, and hire some assistants. I need to check that
Well-
fireproof door again.
let me give you options. So we need to get the mithril, 3,000 pounds.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Bless you. From the conclave. Garmore, that would be your specialty. I assume.
I agree.
You
No
need a
promises.
true platinum transformer, which requires a deal with the Golgari.
Great. Well, our relationship is very good with those, I assume.
It's tenuous, but better now that we've tore down walls. The Arclight conduit is the third thing we need. That one is a mystery, somewhat.
That means that we would also have to fight a creature that is flying who knows how high in the air. So unless we know aerial combat, that might be a little tough. But luckily, and I pull out Merle's boots, I can save
got
these
me.
for you.
Thank you.
There's also
not
the Arclight Phoenix and the Flux Capacitor. So, is it you're building the Flux Capacitor? Is that what you said you wanted to go to first?
Well, like I said, we got paperwork to fill out.
There's always
Gotta
paperwork.
follow the process.
I'm learning that with the is
Joseph just kind of paperwork. I hate it.
Alternatively, should we want to forego this, we could fight a planeswalker. Now, I'm not saying that's what we should do first and foremost, or if we can find some way to extract the essence from the planeswalker. We don't have to directly fight it one-on-one.
Jara stands up and kind of in haste, and his chair slides back. He says, "That is a terrible idea. You do not know the power that a planeswalker possesses. They freely go in and out of different planes of existence because they can, and nobody can stop them."
Well, we just need to find one who's kind of a dick then.
We've already discussed that Tezzeret is a bother to this plane, but I still would not... No, you should not do that. Bringing the wrath of a planeswalker upon you, especially while the guildpact is gone, is a terrible idea.
No, we don't have to do this alone. Other guilds want him gone too, correct?
Yes, but if they could, they probably would have done already. Do you think that he's alone? To
No.
my knowledge, Tezzeret works for Nicol Bolas, one of the most ancient, probably the first planeswalker ever. And if you bring Nicol Bolas here, down on us, no amount of planeswalkers will be able to defend us.
I suppose I hadn't considered the fact that this planeswalker who is hated by everybody had friends.
I think he has a point, though. I think something as drastic as attacking a planeswalker could be saved as a
Last resort.
Yes.
I would not say that that is our primary. I'm saying it is more of a tertiary. Also, if we extract the planeswalker spark from them, I don't know how much power they would lose. So
What
it may
is
stop being a threat.
Planeswalker's spark anyway?
I'm not quite sure personally, but it sounds like a source of energy or, well, because we know, us as our characters would know about, like, do we know anything about, like, the spark at all?
So, you guys did get a little bit of that during your initial...
Because me as a player, I know that, but does our
yeah.
characters know?
You did get a little bit of mentions, but you didn't get much about it in specific. You
Do we have,
know
like,
that
the
it's some
idea?
sort of... Yeah, there's some sort of inborn power. The Spy Master says, "I believe that I may be able to answer your questions in regards to the Planewalker's spark. To my understanding, which albeit is secondhand, but the information is trusted, at least the sources are. This is apparently a latent power inborn in some sentient creatures across the entirety of the multiverse. Don't even get me started on that. That line of questioning has already been several books worth of transcribing. But anyways, the spark is latent and inborn apparently, and it is activated and permanently turns the bearer into this planeswalker, which grants them not only the ability to travel the multiverse, but imbues them with a significant amount of power. One thing that I did learn is that at least to my shared knowledge with my agents, is that the power is created during and released during a moment of great peril or shock or life-threatening.
Zorax
But
quickly flashes back to his moment where he pulled the sword for the first time.
yes, very something similar to that. Apparently, the spark allows them to absorb incredible amounts of mana and harness that into their magic. And can be very devastating. The older they are, the longer they've had to store that power, making them devastating. What they are capable of is just as varied as the number of people there are in the world. So their power can take and manifest in an unlimited number of ways, making them unpredictable, as no two planeswalkers are the same. Of course, there is some influence from their life before becoming a planeswalker, but I have not enough information on that. But if it is a source of energy you're looking for, a spark that can be captured and contain an indefinite amount of mana definitely seems like a quality candidate.
Again,
I disagree. I am not one to. I'm in agreement with Jara. If we go after this Tezzeret, we can bring the wrath of other powerful, even more powerful planeswalkers down upon not just Elturel, but also the entirety of Ravnica, and we would be the first to pay that price.
I'm not saying, and as I've stated before, this is not a primary objective. Please do not misunderstand me. I'm not saying that I wish to go out and fight this being. I would not want to because I value my life. I'm not out to create suicide for myself. I know my limits, and that's certainly not within them. But I'm saying that we do need to remember that this is an option that we have to consider should all else fail. We do not know if we will succeed.
Can be a tough fight, man. How you look at it.
We are not unaccustomed to tough fights, but I'm saying that if we have to, and if we really want to get back home, we may have to do something drastic like this.
Perhaps the Conclave would have information about this Arclight Phoenix.
I agree.
Then
Wonderful.
But again, we also have to consider that should we fail, we do have to seek alternatives, just like when Merle had passed. Also, welcome back.
then you should all start with Plan A.
But first, we need to rest. Merle is
Fair
clearly
enough.
not ready to move. He
Take
can barely
care of yourself.
stand with his cigar in his mouth.
Well-
so in other words, just like any other evening bender. Come on.
Let me have I will have my spy master check on Venek, make sure he's okay. Jara and Garmore and my archmage head with Merle and make sure he is properly taken care of. Zorax, I need to talk to you.
Zorax darts a look over at Jara, then he goes back to Rhea and he says, "As you wish."
And she heads over towards her quarters, expecting Zorax to follow.
It sounds like we have our orders as the Duchess has commands. We will disband for now. rest. We have some busy time ahead of us. Jara, please inform Vanek and the Boros Legion that we are grateful for their service. Let them know we intend to move forward. While we have lost a great warrior, because of their aid, we were able to return a valuable asset that will help us get home. Devin says, I think with that, unless there's anything else, we have our next actions. Let us execute swiftly and let us return home.
Right.
All right.
So I
With
need to
that,
speak to Rhea.
Yep. That's what we're. The area disbands. Several of the servants begin guiding all of you around. Several wait behind for Zorax.
I help Merle
and-
to get comfortable quarters for him to rest.
So they actually take you to a small building where the top half of it's been destroyed, but it's like 6 floors. So the first 3 floors look like they've been redone and are very nice and comfortable and livable.
Wow.
You know, it looks like the conclave, as you have walked through the city, have used a lot of plants and vines to kind of reinforce some of the less stable buildings to make sure that they stay structured and in place. And with that, Rhea and Zorax, you guys enter a smaller chamber with like a horseshoe-shaped desk as Rhea walks to one side of it and sits down in the only chair.
You wish to speak with me? Why?
Do you sense any souls that shouldn't be listening to this conversation?
Give me a perception
I take a
check.
quick scan.
Well, no, you would know.
I take a quick
you would-
scan.
There are servants outside, but you don't feel like they are close enough unless they're using some sort of magic. But it looks clear.
And I would like to do a quick investigation check of the room.
What are you looking for?
Anything the Demir might hide.
Give me an investigation check. He's checking for souls. You're checking for gizmos.
Yes.
Yes, that's clever.
I got a 20. Not natural.
So as you're poking around, your eye catches on one of the plants a particularly shiny beetle. As you walk over to the beetle, you go to approach it, and it picks up and starts flying away towards the door.
I snatch it out of the air and crush it as quick as I can.
Give me a... I'm going to say that's going to be sleight of hand.
Okay. 21. Man.
All right, so
Rhea's on fire.
So Rhea
She was a
begins talking
scrappy
to you
lad
as
when
you're-
she was younger.
As you're tracking the souls, she kind of looks around, her eyes darting from area to area, and then she does a double take over at one of the plants. She walks over, and as she goes to reach out, a beetle floods a bright, shiny black beetle flies off, and you see her kind of follow it, and then she just snaps it out of the air instantly and crushes it in her fingertips with a pop as it crumbles to the ground.
Zorax just looks impressed, like, wow, that is... I forget we both grew up on the streets of Baldur's Gate at one point.
Zorax, what I'm about to tell you, you can't tell anybody else.
Okay.
And she makes sure that you're looking at her, and just for a split second, her face changes to echoes and back.
Oh!
Now, he kind of throws his feet up on the table and
You-
obviously relaxes a little bit more.
I'm gonna make a quick roll real quick. You
What you
you
rolling?
see a I was willing to see if Zorax is actually shocked or not. You see
Huh.
a flash of like, whoa, and then it just because he's a soldier, it goes right back to normal.
So
I rolled an 8. I was like, if it's an 11 or higher, I stone colded it. If it's lower, I did not.
So, Garmore couldn't catch my hint. I was trying to talk to him earlier, but I needed to talk to you anyway. You weren't around when I told the others I don't work for the Demir willingly. They have somebody that I truly love, and I have to do what they say, or they kill him.
I see.
Or sell her parts to the Simic.
I see.
So you can see why I was forced to take up Rhea's place here.
Then I check for souls again. Because I want no one to hear what I'm about to ask, so I don't spook anybody in earshot.
You can tell that the servants outside are wandering around, but they just seem to be cleaning up, as far as you can tell. It's kind of hard to tell because all you can see is souls. You can only assume what they're doing, but they
Right.
seem to be working their way around the table, cleaning up the fruits and the drinks and everything.
I kind of like lean in, and I say, "Then I have a question, and that is, where is Rhea?" And then I lean back out.
Do you remember? Do you remember when we saw the little thing on the Is It screens about the possible assassination of a leader?
Yes.
That
Oh my God! You guys should have just saw Matt's face. It was. Sorry.
was
Yes.
Rhea. She's dead.
Oh,
Make another roll. He's a little more shocked this time. It's like, oh fuck. And again, as quickly as it comes, it goes. He's like,
that's bad.
I see.
Well then,
Okay.
I realize this is a lot, and I wanted to.
What the fuck do we do here?
I wanted to apologize to Garmore for what changelings have done to his family, and you can see it wouldn't have gone over well
Given his
if he knew I was
predisposition,
Rhea.
yeah, no, I
You
understand.
can't tell him.
You're good. Your guys' beef is between you two. I just want no one to die.
And my goal is to save my love, so that's the point of
Also-
everything.
yeah.
So, okay, then this brings up another set of problems that have just occurred to me. We suddenly don't have a leader in Elturel.
I realize that.
So then what do we do about... Are you just going to stage as Rhea for how indeterminate long? Do we have a plan?
This is why I wanted to talk to you.
Okay, I see.
I want to work with you to save my love. And I can't do that as Rhea.
Correct.
we need to stage her death.
Okay, I'm in.
Publicly, so that the Dimir can't replace her again.
Right. Okay, so did you have an enemy in mind to stage for this death? Did you have an idea? Because we just had someone get resurrected, and they're not going to take this death super easily.
We would have to make her unresurrectable, that's true. And...
Well, the man did mess up on saying that if there was a delimbing, then maybe.
But she needs her body.
Are you... What? Okay. True.
And the Dimir have gotten rid of that completely.
Wait, that should disappear.
Okay.
So, if
this is gonna throw the city into uproar. I'm like thinking about all the things that are gonna happen after this too. Should we even succeed? Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming you had a plan to fake this death.
No, that's why I'm asking you.
Okay.
There?
Okay.
I need help.
Zorax is thinking to himself, so do I, buddy. But he's not saying that. He's trying to stay strong for the both of us. Okay. Well.
We could blame it on one of the guilds somehow.
True. Okay, so
But
here's the thing. I have something of a plan. Okay, so my soul. No, because that doesn't make any sense. Wait, we might be able to make this work. I need to check on something real quick, though. I need to check thaumaturgy specifically. Actually, I have the light cantrip, so it might work out anyway.
A possibility is you know how to banish people.
This is true.
If we can make it seem like you tried to banish somebody and accidentally they deflect it to Rhea and she... I could cast a spell, disappear, and it would make it look like I'm gone and you're the only one that could tell I'm actually still there.
You're right. Okay, so, and because you're banished, you'll come back. That makes sense. Okay, so now we
Not
have
actually banished. You don't actually cast anything. You just...
Oh, yeah, no, you're
Technically,
right.
He could.
I mean, I
He
could.
could banish you.
I could
and
literally
you would come
banish
back,
you, and you would come
but
back.
she wouldn't.
But
Because
she,
would
yeah.
descend to her material plane of her birth,
Exactly.
origin.
But
Echo
then
would come back.
Echo would come back, correct.
That
Well,
would look
Rhea would.
suspicious, though.
I mean, but then the spell actually happens. No one can fault it. They would have to say that you would have been, you know, they would have had to seen you are you. So, okay. So then we need somebody to believably make it so it looks like that they had deflected magic.
Mm-hmm.
But we would have to fool an archmage. That's the issue. If we can make an archmage believe that Rhea had been missing, then we're in luck. On top of that, because Rhea's already dead. Wait, is
Yeah.
she is dead for sure, correct? You know that she is absolutely 100% dead.
Through my Dimir contacts, they said she is dead.
Okay, that's believable. that's I think that's
They-
more than enough to believe that she's dead and gone. And
Taking it
not
like it is.
retrievable. Yeah.
They
Okay.
don't really have a reason to lie to me on that I know of.
Right. So, okay. Now the thing... Joram is here. And I know he's a powerful mage.
We could do it without the Archmage and Joram being around.
But we need to make it believable. That's how you stage a death.
Make it
I've done
believable
this.
around people that aren't experts in magic. I'm glad to know that you've staged deaths. Guess what? I take people's places for a living. I do it all the time.
I was a
It's
guardsman
just-
in Baldur's Gate. Trust me, you had to do some weird shit.
Usually I don't have leaders of cities with powerful mages all around me when I have to replace a leader.
Which is why, in a city that has a small population, we need to make it believable. If we just make the common folk believe it, the Archmage is still going to believe, no, that can't be right.
I think that's a perfect place to end the camp session.
Yep.
You guys can sit on that and brainstorm
Fuck!
on that.
That's a tough one.
Oh my gosh, you guys!
And I gotta rebuild.
Seriously?
And I gotta rebuild Merle to be level 15 too. So yeah.
Uh,
I don't even... Oh my god.
I
like
think
how
that'll
you...
do it.
I love how you were like, so excited to speak to him, like, what the fuck does Rhea want with me? To like a bodyguard
yeah.
for the night in case she gets killed? She's already dead, by the way.
Bring me your big sword.
I'm like, hi, what's going... Oh, sweet Jesus.
All right. Go ahead. Were you gonna say something, Ian?
Nope.
All right. That'll do it for our session 14 of Planeshifters. Lot to go around here.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see where this goes. A lot of prep and planning, so I'm glad that I got an amazing reaction from Matt. That's something I need to clip that because it blew my mind. I was like, yes. All right. So before we close out, I just want to say real quick, I am Justin Hanlon, one of the hosts of the Crit Academy Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Every week we talk D&D. Please come join us this week. We're going to be having a special guest, our Emerald patron, Garmin. We're going to talk about... what did I say?
Garment.
I said Garwin, I thought. She said
you
I said
didn't.
Garmin. Well,
I heard garment. Versus garment.
Okay, well, whatever. Our patron, our Emerald patron, Garwin's going to be joining us, so make sure you come and check us out over at right here on YouTube. At 7 p.m. Eastern. I promise it'll be a lot of fun. If you haven't already, we did just release our Extraordinary Expeditions Adventures. You can pick it up right now on hardcover or in digital by heading over to rebrand.ly/extraordinary-expeditions. Please consider supporting us and adding this amazing resource to your library, to your toolkit, because I promise, if you like tonight's adventure, there's stuff like that in here. So
Yeah, you can take some of Justin's genius from tonight and look it up in there.
yes, make it rain. All right, so let's go around the table. Tell me who you are, who you're playing, and what you like about today's session. Let's start with our frozen. Let's not start with our frozen guy. Is he frozen? Oh, there he is.
Nope.
Let's go ahead and start
I'm
with.
thinking. Hi,
Austin.
everybody. I played Zorax, the conspirator, I guess. Not what I expected to happen this session. I'm like, I'm gonna figure out maybe if I can get an edge that my memory was modified. Nope. I have to figure out how to stage an oops. I played Zorax and I play a Voidwalker Paladin, and thankfully I know Banishment. This is great.
How about Will?
Yeah. I played.
I have an idea.
Then I played Echo.
Save it.
My name's Will.
Very versatile tonight, Will. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, this did not go how I expected it to go. But
Is that a good or bad?
it turned out great. I was kind of prepared for the possibility of Echo being gone for a long time or not, but plans have obviously changed. And
I'm assuming Justin told you, like, by the way, Rhea's dead, and you're posing as Rhea right now.
No. We talked about it a little bit. It's great. I play a spy in the game, and then I also kind of play a spy as a player too.
So
Yeah.
yeah, well, I need to
So
ask you,
exciting.
maybe that'd be awesome for the audience to know too. Like, what made this come about? Like, actually, like, what was the process that you guys thought? I think it'd be a great idea for Rhea to be assassinated and Echo take the place. Like, how?
Justin is the mastermind on that one.
So, like, what inspired you to make Echo
course he
specifically
is.
be
Of
Rhea?
course he is.
His backstory. I want for each of you. I'm trying to give each person kind of their own arc, and each of those arcs, some of them are already filled, some are only half filled. Like for instance, Zorax, his is only half filled, right? He got his new blade. He went, some shit happened, and he doesn't remember it. I gave Merle, I'm trying to give each character their arc, and what better way than to include the master spy in the group at the top of the hierarchy of power. And what would he do with that power once he had it? Of course he would want to leverage it to save his Triana. Of course that's what he's going to do. And everything's going to go to that, which also benefits you guys, because if he can save Triana, he's going to have to get the hell away from Dimir.
Yeah, I cannot
putting
get Tiana anywhere near the Dimir after I get her out of there.
Yeah.
And so that kind of is what started it, and then we were just tossing back ideas. So,
Okay.
all right, Ian.
Oh, where to begin? I got to play not one, but two characters. One being a dead man who's not so dead anymore, who I kind of pictured like him in the afterlife being in the Mechanicus, if you will. So he definitely did a few things when he was there.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be a logical place for a artist to go, so.
Yeah, I loved it. I think it was great. I'm not going to reveal what item you picked to anybody, though.
That's fair.
I think we should keep that secret.
I think that's
really
fair.
Cool. He literally picked a really great item for this, so it was awesome. Good kudos to you. All right, and last but certainly not least,
Just wow, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was definitely like, oh my god, that's not good.
You guys are just poking the literal bear with my character. Like, if he
I
ever
know.
finds out, you don't know what's gonna happen.
I can banish
Yep.
you. That's what's gonna happen.
at least you get home.
Yeah, there's two different banishes, man. You if you start attacking us, you're out of here, man.
No,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
it'll work out in your way.
Yeah. No.
How? You
Well,
guys
I'm
be
definitely
very-
not gonna tell you that that Rhea's dead. Oh
yeah,
my
Echo
God.
made very sure that secret does not reach Garmore.
Yeah, that's why he chose me specifically.
And the difficult part of it is that I still have the DM inspiration from Justin, and I never used it. Ah!
Oh, yeah? Plot point. Top
Sorry.
that.
Is it
Sorry,
yours
Percy.
gone at this point?
Not Jorum's. I don't think he ever used it.
Merle did not use his.
Oh, Merle.
Yeah, Merle did
use
not
it.
use his.
Oh man, but we avoided tragedy.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was a one-roll tragedy that could have really turned the whole thing upside down.
My insight
what
into
was-
you?
Wait,
Yeah. Matt's insight check, if he would have rolled really well, everything
It
would
would
have
have unraveled.
It would have been chaos.
Yeah, you'd have known something was up. All right, I think that'll do it. It's late. I'm tired. I have work to do. I had a blast tonight. I loved. What did you guys think about me giving another player access to an important character?
I mean,
The first
even
time that worked
assuming
out,
that
so-
assuming that it's not just because he's a changeling, but if I was to do that more often in these more council meetings,
I thought it was fine.
okay.
Like, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think, because again, it takes the pressure, and we've done this even with like when I was in the council with all the archangels. Like, it takes pressure off the DM, and it allows players to kind of have their own influence on the situation as long as they keep to their motives that they've been given.
Mhm.
Then it's a healthy way to let the campaign work organically, because then it's like the
I
DM
agree.
can see these things like, oh, I guess I didn't really think of it that way. Now I have to roll with it just like everyone else.
That is one of my favorite parts. I gave some details to Will, but a lot of that he just ran with it, and I had to take notes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was some of it. I misinterpret something here, and then something else doesn't work over here, and so I'm like, I have to pretend to be her while pretending to be her. It works.
I really think it turned out really great. So, all right, I think that'll do it for the show. Thanks for everyone that watched. If you're watching now, you're watching on the VOD later. Thank you for making it this far. Hopefully that reveal knocked your proverbial socks off.
I
With
definitely
that,
thought you were Rhea the whole time.
Yeah,
Like,
that was one of my
actually,
concerns when
I
was
was
talking to
like,
him about it.
I straight up never once did I think he would have been Echo. Not a
That was
single
one of the
time.
concerns that he had. He's like, well, I'm playing as shapeshifter. I work for the Dimir.
Yeah.
And now you just gave me a character. But I think we found a good happy ground of his character's gone, so he's going to play this to keep him involved. I think smoothed over that very
Yeah, because I was like,
obvious-
he's gone. I was like, I don't know, maybe like some shit happened. Like, I don't fucking know.
I'm in
Because
the
remember, I
ghost
told you he
lane.
disappeared last
Yeah, and
week.
that's why I was like, I thought like he was like always like watching like a hawk. That's how I
Yeah,
always
well,
assumed
Demir-
it.
Surprised. I'm just surprised
Demir
that
gave me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just surprised that Garmore didn't pick anything of that up, especially with his passive inside of 20.
Well,
You
I'm still
are
confused.
trying to judge an expert physical shapeshifter, actor, master. I'm not
knows
going to
the
pull
target?
away from his character because of a feature you have particularly. Now, he did try to give you an opportunity to discover that, and actually went to you first. But then you started talking about how horrible changelings were, and he's like, I'm gonna go the other way. That was a decision he ended up having to change because of that particular direction you went, which is perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
But he didn't figure out what that was. He doesn't know.
I do.
Well,
With
How
the
do you-
Demir. Through the Demir, I would know.
No, he doesn't. Well, it was only thrown out because it was kind of thrown out because of Galador.
who's to say he
Being
wasn't
called a-
there during that? Or
Well,
any of the other Demir?
well,
See,
his
because
memory-
that's the thing with the Demir. They have, like, we
They
are
listen to
people of
everything.
interest, and they will probably always have eyes on us. We always kind of have to be a little careful.
And that's
And
very
the spy
important
master
information.
alluded to that too. She did say that she was very impressed with the Dimir, because if you remember when you first met her, they didn't know the Dimir existed, even though she did all that research. Because remember, we
Mhm.
gave you a list of there's supposed to be 10 guilds or whatever it was, and there was one missing. It's because the Dimir outsmarted her for a while. Anyways, that's more to come. We'll see you guys later. Keep your blades
Yep.
sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
See you later, guys.